Welcome back from the holidays, everyone. 1 to 3. 1 to 3. That is the ratio of comments to likes that we got. 3, the bigger number, is a number of comments, 150. 50 is a number of likes that we got, which is such a harsh, horrific ratio over Brett's point that Sandfall is not an indie game. I have been ratioed
Indie
a
Studio.
couple times. Sorry, what did I say?
You said indie game.
Yeah, Sandfall's not... Well, yeah, Sandfall's not an indie game anyways. But Sandfall's not an indie studio. A point that I am agnostic about, we had even some of our previous people who have been on this very podcast make videos just to talk about how wrong Brett is.
Yeah.
That was good. That was funny.
You know, reading a
So-
comment is one thing, but like seeing someone's face who you know may have talked to before telling you how wrong you are,
It's somebody
that stings, man.
Somebody actually had to like put the time into recording, editing.
It's like just getting punched in the gonads. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's so funny.
So we're gonna, I guess, yeah, that's, maybe we'll just make outrage content. Today, this is Overthinking Games, a podcast for those of us oh my god, a podcast that about what video games can teach us. I was gonna say the
For
intro
those
to
who come
another
after.
podcast.
What were you
Yeah,
gonna-
something like that. Welcome to Overthinking Games, a podcast about what video games can teach us. Katie is gone because she had too many chickens to take care of. The chickens have revolted and
It's Animal Farm.
are, yeah,
Have revolted against
And-
communism. They're voting
Yeah.
for capitalism.
yeah.
It's a whole thing.
And so Katie has dealt that. Katie will not be joining us, but we have me, Dempsey, who's doing the cold open today. Hi. And then we have Seth,
Hello.
and then we have Brett.
Yeah. No one likes me anymore, apparently.
Yeah.
But he is a top
And
200
so-
podcaster.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, go listen to Lord to Death, especially if you like Zelda and Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, a lot of D&D stuff.
We
Yeah,
did an episode on Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, on not Night Rain. What's Shadow of the Erdtree?
Shadow of the
when the
Erdtree.
DLC dropped, right?
Yeah.
That's a good episode.
So today's episode is going to be kind of looking forward into 2026. I have some stupid goals that I want to achieve. We're going to look forward into like the year of gaming, maybe looking back a little bit. We kind of did that during the Game of the Year's episodes, but maybe we can talk about some stuff that wasn't just like specific games related, but like the Switch 2 came out and things like that. I do want to talk about a couple things before we get into our topic, and that is, so the AI episode that we recorded that before the news about
Oh, yeah.
Sandfall, the controversies about Sandfall and Larian,
Yeah.
two of like the most like prototypical celebrated studios in gaming right now. I think it's hard to find studios, especially of that size, that have as much goodwill in video games right now. And I think it'll be interesting to listen back to that episode, because at the time we're recording this, that episode is not out. But to see how consistently I feel about my views on AI, because I think the one thing I said in that episode was like, maybe we should leave it to the technicians and the people who are doing the work to be able to develop norms. And so it does not bother me that much that they are currently or in the past experimenting. Like, I think the Indie Games Awards are being a little petty with stripping Sandfall of their, because I think it's that they used an AI image that they purchased from a texture pack, and the texture pack had some AI in there. And so like, it was like during the ideation process, and then it did ship with an AI image that was part of a texture pack.
It was like there was like a light post that had some like newspapers on it, and the newspapers were all like AI generated stuff because it was a placeholder, and like that placeholder image made it into the final game, but they patched it out pretty quickly. And they patched in real images, and I think that's really what the controversy was largely about.
Yeah, and so like, that affects my opinions on that game absolutely zero.
Yeah.
I do not care that much. Like, maybe the Indie Game Awards feel like they have to be so strict about it, you know, in order to kind of set precedents for the future when AI is going to be used a lot more. So maybe the thinking is that they're going to be like extreme strict adherence now in order so people don't try to get away with more complicated things later. And then Slev Vinky, the studio boss and owner of Larian, talked about how for Divinity, the new game that Larian's putting out, they used AI in like some of the early stages of like ideation. And like, I don't know, does not make me I think like obviously I don't know the relationship. It didn't sound like he was trying to, like, first of all, he wasn't positive on it. He wasn't like, this is what we're going to use to save time. He was kind of talking about his experience in a really neutral way. He was like, it didn't actually save that much time, and there weren't actually that many upsides, but we were experimenting with it, and these are kind of a new tool that our designers can use.
Yeah.
And like, which I think is relatively neutral way. So I don't know.
So like,
maybe we'll sound like complete hypocrites, but I feel like the way that AI was utilized by those two people, because it's still, if what it sounded like was that the employees who were concept artists were allowed to use AI at their own discretion as a part of their natural creative process.
So basically what it was like the concept artists used AI to pool reference images. They were using it like a Pinterest board or like a mood board. They were basically just like, hey, can you like pull images off Google and like assort them? Like, here's the vibe I'm going for. Get me a bunch of references. And then they still made the concept art without AI. So I think that's the large misunderstanding, is that they were using AI to make concept art, but that's not true. Yeah. They were using AI as like a mood board. They were, instead of like scrolling Pinterest for an hour, they spent 5 seconds to get a prompt from like, you know, a GPT, whatever it was, and it gave them reference images, which, by the way, when we talked about AI in the AI episode, that is exactly the use case where I said is perfectly, like, I think it's okay as a creative to use it like that when using it for like the, like, strictly like pre and like prototyping sort of thing, as long as you're not using the AI to do it for you and it doesn't make it into the final game. It's like, you know.
Yeah, I think, and I also think that like this kind of like pretty technical exploration is important, especially because video games are so technologically driven. And so like, I have no bad feelings about it. Anyways, okay, so I don't know how much of a hypocrite we're going to come across. It's been like almost a month since we recorded the AI episode, but these episodes are going to come out back to back. So this will be interesting. What we've been playing this week. It was Christmas. I put 40 hours into Hades 2. It's better than Hades. I went back to play a couple rounds of Hades number 1, and there's a lot of things that don't feel good. Like the fact that there's no Omega, like you can't charge attacks, like that felt very clunky. I really like the Arcana, the tarot cards. Like I think those are so much better than the mirror, because you can like visualize and plan your synergies a lot more clearly. I think the characters are like a little bit more polished and confident. So I don't know. The one thing I do like about Hades, so I guess spoilers for Hades 1 and 2. The thing I do like, and this is a topic that I want to dive into on its own topic, which is about sequels, because this is a very common trend in sequels. But I do like the emotional stakes of Hades 1 a little bit more. And that's like him in a conflict with his dad. His dad doesn't want to kill Zagreus. Like the dad's not like this evil, horrible person. The dad's kind of like the disconnected father, but like Zagreus still feels a connection to his dad and values that relationship ultimately.
You would know more about this if you actually, played through the story. Before Dempsey continues here, because what he's saying is absolutely true. Dempsey sent a message into our group chat literally 3 days ago being like, hey, I just realized after finishing a run in Hades 2 that this is really the start of the story. Is Hades 1 like that? Yes. Yes, it is. Like we've been telling you every time we talk about Hades, you're at the inciting incident of the story where Zagreus gets sent back to hell by his dad, and you have completely missed the entire character arc of him getting along with his dad.
Yeah. Anyways, so I might have to go. I think I'll play it on my, I think I have to rebuy it because I have it on my Switch right now, but I much prefer my Steam Deck. So that's the thing that I do feel like I was more attracted to in Hades, was the emotional relationship between the characters. Hades 2 is a lot more like mythology and like broad stakes. So like you have like the whole pantheon has opinions on what's happening, and like whether the Titan of Time, like what he's going to do impacts everybody. And that feels, I think, just a tad less satisfying. I think they do a lot of really good things in that. Like it's still very well written. It's just like inherently with a scale that big, I think you're going to lose some of those like softer, more specific points. Here is something that I wish Hades 2 did, and this is just for me. This is only for me. So I'm 40 hours in. I've killed the last, like I've done like about 6 or 7 complete runs on both up and down. And you know what that means if you've played the game. So both up and down, I've done about 6 or 7 runs, and they're like, it has to be like a half an hour for a run. Like even if you're fast at it, they still like a time sink. And so, but what I want is a more clear roadmap onto how to do specific things. So there's a plot with, I guess, I don't know how, so if you're very sensitive to spoilers, skip ahead a little bit, but there's a plot with a spider and a plot with a very flirty man who has wings. And those are the only 2 things that I care about. Is I want to help the spider, and I want to get to know this very flirty guy with wings. And I wish there was a more clear roadmap in the game diegetically on how to accomplish those 2 things. Because it feels like there will be some narrative conclusion to those things, but right now I don't know how to get there except just doing runs over and over again. But I know there are specific things that will make that happen faster. And so like because there's a bunch of different plots, and I don't care about a lot of them. And so like when I do a run, I want to be able to only focus, only get the materials, like only optimize for the storylines that I care about. But because I don't know how to make progress on those specific storylines, I feel like everything gets slower. So I could look up a guide, but I'm worried about spoilers. Because like I don't know how those end, and I don't know what it means for those to come to their conclusions. And so if I'm like, you know, how to get to the end of Arachne's storyline, like I don't want the spoilers to come up that like she does solve the problem in this way or she doesn't and something else happens, whatever. So that's my only complaint, is that I also, 40 hours is a long time for me to be playing a game that has the same exact thing every time. And so I'm getting to the point where it is like, I think I'll probably play it 1 or 2 more days, and then I will put it down, and then I guess Google the rest. Like I'll watch a lore video, kind of like what I did for Silksong. So, and also there's another reason why I have to put it down in like 2 days anyways, but we'll get to that in the topic. Other than that, I have not been playing anything else, just Hades 2. So Seth complains about going last, so we'll go with Seth next. Seth, what have you been playing this week?
No, I mean, I really don't have too much interesting to talk about, because with Christmas rolling around, I haven't really been playing like too much stuff. I played some games with my fiance, like she's been playing a lot of Sims. So I've kind of just spent like a weird amount of time just like sitting with her on the couch as she's like explaining to me what she's set up for our Sims, which I'm like, great. Which, just on a side note about The Sims, it's such a funny game to hear about somebody else playing, because like she was telling me she set up, because you can set up like multiple houses. So she'll like put a house together and then like get a family started, and then she'll get bored of them and then go like set up another family in the neighborhood. And then the Sims can like meet each other and talk and become friends. And then she'll follow that family for a little bit and sort of like get them set up. So she had set up this one family who within like the first like hour or two of her like managing the Sims, the like mom was making dinner and then like caught on fire from the stove and just like died in front of the kids.
Wow.
She like burned to death. So then like the kids had trauma, but then like because she was like, I don't want to deal with this family, I'm gonna go to the next one because I can't deal with it. But now like the kids in the new family somehow made like friends with the kids from the last family, so she's dealing with this like trauma still from this other family. It's just weird, like emergent gameplay.
Is that a mod or is that a mechanic in the game?
It's because like she was just like cooking, like the Sim was just like cooking dinner, and like she had it put like smoke alarms or fire extinguishers in the house. So like the kitchen caught fire and then the Sim caught fire and died. And like because the kids watched somebody die, they now are like anxious or something. They have like fear of death.
I wonder why.
Maybe I need to play The Sims.
It's just it's all odd, but anyway, that's been fun, I guess. It's one of those things that's fun to get like updates from my fiance and be like, so how's The Sims going? And she's like, this one family's house burned down. And I'm like, it's okay. You should probably install more fire alarms in their houses.
Yeah.
For me, I played like a little bit of Borderlands this week. I've been playing a little bit of RuneScape this week because they had a new skill come out, which is the first time that's ever happened. Whoa. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to check it out. And it's cool. It's fun. I've just kind of been like grinding away at that when I have like nothing else to do. Actually, it's kind of been fun like revisiting RuneScape every once in a while, because like before I was back on it, I was spent a lot of time sitting around being like, what do I want to play right now? And it's a good like palate cleanser sort of game. Like it kind of lets me take like a month off from like thinking too much about other games, so that like when I finally go back to like thinking about like, oh, what games should I play on Steam, I can kind of come back to everything with like a fresh mindset. It also kind of resets my YouTube algorithm because I kind of watch too many videos about RuneScape, and then it's like, all right, we got to serve this guy something else because we've run out of all the good RuneScape videos to send him. So I watched some weird science videos recently. Some guy who, instead of having a 1,000 watt microwave, he hooked up a crazy like transformer to it and made a 20,000 watt microwave.
And he blew up his house, and now his family have trauma over watching their father die.
No, but that's just fun from like science stuff. But I've done a little bit of Warhammer stuff. I'm trying to get together with some friends and stuff, but it's just been a lot of like hanging with people. We had our families over for Christmas, didn't have a lot of time to play games. So nothing super exciting for me for this week. But Brad, how about you?
Unfortunately, I am much in the same boat because the holidays have just been way too busy for me this year. That's also because we like made plans to travel up north for a couple days, and that's been kiboshed by like getting sick, and then the weather's been really bad. I've had like crazy ice storms, and it's like, well, I'm not going to drive 5 hours up north where it's like 3 times worse up there if it's already like we already have an inch of ice on the roads here, so like it's not going to be any better up there, so maybe we shouldn't travel.
So 2 things. First of all, how do you go north? You're in Canada already. Where do you go?
Yeah, further. We just keep going.
That's crazy.
Do you go
south eventually? Is that how that works?
I mean, if I go south, I just get into the States.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And then I'm pretty close. Yeah. Not going to geolocate myself, but yeah, I'll drive like 6 hours up north to go see my family. And there's so much more north. Like 6 hours, like driving 6 hours, that's the tip of the iceberg, man. There's so much more further north and so much less. So much less, but so much more.
Did you say kibosh instead of kibosh?
That's how you say it, isn't it? Kibosh? It's a kibosh. Do you say kibosh?
Yeah, like my plans
Whoa.
were kiboshed.
No, I say kibosh.
Yeah, see?
That's crazy.
That's an East Coast
Anyways.
thing, I guess. Anyways.
Okay, go on.
So, long story short, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play games. So, really, the only thing that I've been playing on Steam is Crypt of the Necrodancer, which I talked about a lot before. I've cleared zones 1 and 2 with the main character, Cadence. I have tried a few of the other characters. The Bard is really fun, but it feels like cheating because Crypt of the Necrodancer is a rhythm roguelite, so you can only move to the beat of the song, and if you don't move to the beat of the song, you get penalized. If you play with the Bard, you can just move however you want. It doesn't matter. Like, there's no beats that you have to follow, so it's just kind of like, at that point, just a roguelike experience, and it kind of takes away 90% of the game. Like, it's incredibly easy when you don't have to worry about the rhythm portion of it. So I don't really like playing with the Bard, but I did it just to get a couple achievements or whatever. Or I guess there weren't even achievements for it. I just did it for no reason, apparently. Whatever. Anyways. So if I'm not playing Crypt of the Necrodancer, I've only been playing Elden Ring Night Rain. And I've been playing quite a bit of that. I guess in comparison to anything else, it's probably my most played game recently. And I think the last time I talked about it, I said that I wasn't a huge fan of the new map that they put out with the DLC. And I think I've changed my mind on that. And I think it is just because people have gotten used to it. And now every time I load into a new map, it's not just like a doomed run because everyone's jumping off the edge and dying or no one knows any routes or anything, because that seems to just be what happens all the time. So I'm kind of turning around on the new map, partially because I understand it better, but then also because everyone else is kind of understanding it better, which is making runs not miserable. Like, if I'm trying to do the balancers, or, you know, if I'm trying to do someone and I get the new map, I'm not just like, okay, we're probably failing this time. Like, I can get through it most of the time now, just because
it makes sense.
We're not self-sabotaging every run. So I've been doing that. I think I also said that one of the new bosses in the DLC, the Weapon Bequeathed Harmonia, is one of my favorite FromSoft fights ever, and that still holds true. Although, Seth, I don't know if you've played much of the DLC.
I mean, I played it a couple times.
Did you? So you haven't done the Everdark version of the Weapon Bequeathed Harmonia?
I didn't know there was one.
All right. So yeah, they pumped it out it was like a week after the launch for the DLC. They just put out the Everdark version. The Everdark version is so much easier. I have a 100% win rate against the Weapon Bequeathed Harmonia Everdark fight, but I'm probably 50% on the regular version. It's I don't know, it's incredibly easy if everyone doesn't just go and kill themselves right away, because basically it starts off a normal fight and then everything turns into blood, and then you're just doing the same fight again. But then once you kill a certain amount of the enemies, because it's a big horde fight and you're fighting against these angels with spears, they all turn into this giant slug, and then it proceeds just to roll around. And it's what's that one boss from Dark Souls 3 that has the dude sticking out of it and he's got magic and you're fighting him in the chapel? Oh my god, it's one of the main bosses in Dark Souls 3. Why can't I remember its name?
Aldrich.
It's basically Aldrich, but if Aldrich was the size of a skyscraper.
It's it's Dark Souls 2, the big slug guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
The fat guy in Dark Souls 2.
So basically all you do is you just avoid it until it turns back into the regular enemies, and then you just fight the regular enemies again. And it's it's genuinely incredibly easy. As long as, again, everyone doesn't just jump into the slug, which if you jump into the slug, you die. So anyways, I've been playing a lot of Night Rain. Yeah, just don't jump into the slug. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been playing the Deep of Night mode, which is basically just the hard mode. It's kind of ranked, I guess, actually, because the more times you successfully beat it, you get rank points, and then you go up in depth rating the more points you get. So I think it's every 1,000 points you go up another depth. So I'm up to depth 3. It's actually really hard now, because every depth, I think they just multiply the health and damage that enemies do. So
new game.
Yeah, basically. So it's at depth 3, you go into a camp and you're just getting one shot by the ads. It's kind of atrocious. It's kind of just really hard for hard's sake, but it does add a little bit of interest on top of just the regular gameplay, and it's a random boss every time. So you don't have to like select what boss you're going into. It's entirely random, which I personally really like. I wish that just having a random boss selection was just an option, like by default.
You can multi-queue.
Oh, I guess you can do that. I kind of forgot you could do that.
Yeah, when I
guess you
used to
could
play
do
with
that.
friends, we used to just we would just queue up all the bosses and then just let the game pick for us.
I kind of forgot you could do that. I guess you have to like select all of them. I just want like just a random button, just one button. If I have to select more than one button, I'm not going to because I'm lazy.
Sorry that the game has a built-in random option that you're just too lazy to select.
Yeah, welcome to my life. But that's pretty much all I've been playing is really just like Night Rain here and there. Oh, I've been reading a lot of books. Or rather, I started reading a lot more. I started reading Warhammer books, and it's consumed my life. Reading the Horus Heresy books, and it's ruining my life. My wife is sure to complain soon. So that's about all I got.
All right.
Okay, so we are looking forward to 2026, talking about things that we want to play and what we're interested in. I'm going to start this off by talking about something I mentioned on the Christmas episode, and I'm going to talk a little bit more. And I'm going to try to do this in a TikTok friendly way because I'm too lazy to re-record this as a TikTok, and I want just to clip this. So, TikTok, I would like your help. No, wait, hold on. I'm going to restart it. TikTok.
Leave all this in.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay. Gamers of TikTok, I need your help. So I am going to do why are you making that face?
Sorry, I just made a sound on my phone. It probably came over.
You're
the
fine.
speaker.
Seth, okay. Try it again.
Sorry.
Seth was very distracting. Okay. Gamers of TikTok, I need your help. In 2026, I am not playing any combat in games. And so I need suggestions on your favorite non-combat oriented game. And so this is kind of complicated because I think there are games that have violence that I can play, and I think there are games that have combat that I can play. For example, Stardew Valley. I think it's a case-by-case basis. So I think I could play Stardew Valley and just not do the mines because then I wouldn't be engaged in combat. And I think games like Return of the Obra Dinn, right, which is about a violent death, but you're not doing the combat yourself. Just because a game has violent in it doesn't necessarily mean that you are the one doing the violence. And there are games like Citizen Sleeper where you can do violence, but the violence you're doing is just rolling dice. However, I think that's still considered combat, so I'm not going to be able to play that. But there could be an argument for like in Disco Elysium, most of it's not violent. You can punch a guy like twice, and like whether that is violent or not, I think is nuanced. Like I would say Citizen Sleeper has like combat-esque mechanics, but Disco Elysium doesn't really have that. It's just like certain situations in which you can like punch someone once. And so like I don't know whether to consider that violent or not. And then there is violence that we inflict upon other living creatures that aren't humans. So like The Long Dark, for example. The Long Dark, I would say, is not a combat-focused game, but there are wolves. And maybe I can play The Long Dark, I just can't combat the wolves. But like, is that still a combat system if the wolves can try to kill me? Like, because I think you can, though. I think if you have a torch, for example, you can just scare them off, which might be considered nonviolent. But like, then that's weird because like, I don't know if I can play Undertale. Like, can I play Undertale and just do the pacifist run, even though I am participating in the combat system just as much as if I was doing, like, I'm still playing a combat game. So I don't know. But the reason why I want to do this is because I have this moral fear that video games are like inherently a violent medium.
Video games cause violence.
The video games do cause violence. And that like video games are tied so closely to violence that like it normalizes violence or it creates systems in which makes violence more acceptable. So I don't believe that, but I'm afraid it's true. And so I want to stress test this belief that video games are flexible and interesting enough as a medium that you don't have to engage in violence in order to get a lot out of video games. This will probably mean I can't play any AAA games. No Sony first-party games.
Definitely not, no.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to play GTA 6 if it comes out, which is going to probably hurt the most.
Well, it's supposed to come out in November? So if you're doing it for the entire year, you're only really going like a full month without playing it. You'll be okay.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And if they push it back, then it's not going to impact at all.
It's probably getting pushed back again.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of really interesting indie titles that I won't be able to play. But I don't know. I also want to be able to say that I've investigated. Like, I think this is a way for me to practically investigate video games' relationship with violence. I know it comes up a bit on this podcast, and like when I am like a pacifist, I'm very pacifist in real life. And like why that becomes okay when I'm a participant in fiction and things like that. Those are all questions I want to try to answer for myself. So that's one of the things that I am doing. I think the positive is that I am going to get to play a lot of really interesting indie games and a lot of really artsy indie games. And then like, I think the closest thing to like AAA games I'm going to be able to play is like simulation games. Like I think this might be the year that I play The Sims or Farming Simulator or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think I picked a pretty good year to do it because I can't, like, there's no, like, Naughty Dog's next game isn't coming out, which would make this really difficult. I don't think the next God of War game is going to come out within a year. So I think I'm kind of, even like Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote came out, and so if I did want to play that game, like I already had time, and so I'm not going to blame the challenge on not being able to play that game. So I think I've kind of picked a year that I feel like is going to be relatively easy, but yeah, we'll see. And I also want it to be a year because I feel like I can do this on accident for a month and not notice. Like it's not inconceivable of me just to play like Baba Is You and Stardew Valley and like a bunch of indie games for a month that don't have violence. Like that's just in the course of the games that I play that could happen. But I think like as you start getting longer and longer, I think a year is to the point where like I will really feel it. I will feel the fact that I have not played a first-person shooter in a year. I will feel the that like I don't know if I'm going to be able to play anything fast-paced is my biggest worry.
You're going to like lose all of the muscle memory from playing like fast-paced games?
Yeah, that's my biggest worry is that like I'm literally like there's going to be no reaction time or like any like action of any kind. But anyways, so that's my biggest goal in 2026. And I think I'm excited about it, and I think it'll help me be more pretentious because after 2026, you know how many times I can pull this out in conversation when people are talking about video games? It's going to be like I went to Europe, and so I'm going to talk about Greek mythology kind of thing. It's going to be like, well, I went a year without violence, and this is what I'm going to be insufferable. I'm so excited.
It's going to be so holier than thou. It's going to be incredible.
100%. It's going Anyways, Seth, what do you think about 2026? Is there anything in specifically that you are wanting to do or looking forward to, or however you want to take that?
So I think, and I was, this is what I was talking to you guys earlier, but just for the sake of the podcast, I think it'd be fun for us to like start doing some streaming in the coming year. I think I could definitely like pick a day and have us do this. And I mean, I think there's a lot of fun avenues to take that too. Like we have enough of a community in a couple different places that like if we wanted to do like, like games with so-and-so, right? Like I could get that figured out. I mean, my PS5's in the other room, but like I could get like a capture card, and then like Brett and I could play Night Rain, and then we could have that be like streamed.
We could also finally do the 4-player do the podcast Baldur's Gate 3 run. Although I guess Dempsey can't do that unless he's doing total pacifism, but
which I've already played Baldur's Gate as a total pacifist.
Actually, that would be really funny. Run like a classical D&D party of like fighter, cleric, thief, wizard, and then Dempsey just has to go like full like heal cleric.
Yeah, full Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah, no spiritual weapon for Dempsey.
It would be very funny if we did it like by like Geneva Convention rules, and I also had to heal enemies. Like
I'm
Battlefield.
I'm out.
Sounds terrible.
It's bad for the fantasy genre. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of cool opportunities there. Even if it's like, people that we've done podcast episodes with, to be able to have them on for a sort of like, oh, hey, let's play some games together. I'm trying to think who could we potentially do that with? Who is the person who video replied to Brett's take?
CG Danny B.
But yeah, that's a cool opportunity, I think, for some like extra community connection. It could be fun for like everyone who's listening right now. You guys could like hop in and just have an opportunity to like interact with us directly, which I think probably literally the only person who's bridged that gap has been Brett. So, hey, it could work for you guys too. Yeah, and I think I could easily commit a little bit of time to talking about that. I was chatting with one of my fiance's cousin's husband, who was asking about the podcast. And he was like, oh, you guys could like talk about an episode and then like play it the week after. And I was like, that sounds smart.
That does sound smart.
That would probably be good for engagement. So we'll see how that develops. As far as like other gaming stuff for 2026, I mean, I think one of the things that's really stood out to me in 2025 as a sort of look back is I think we're seeing the development of like small scale in like solo indie developers really being able to pop off. I mean, that was the case, right? Balatro wasn't this year, but Balatro was last year. I mean, really last year and the year before, right? But like solo developer totally just like popped off, hit like, I mean, big in the zeitgeist, right? I mean, Balatro was everywhere. But even something like, I know I talked about Unfair Flips at the end of the episode. Last episode is my game of the year. But like, I was not the only person who played Unfair Flips. Like, I had in my YouTube feed, I didn't watch any of the videos, but there was a lot of like big YouTubers that played Unfair Flips, which is a game that I literally just found on accident, like the day it came out, because I was scrolling through the Steam store, like new releases of roguelites. So, and that was again just like another like small solo developer. So I'm excited for like where the small solo developer indie space is headed, because there are just kind of these like flash in the pan indie games, like indie roguelites, that end up doing really, really well and are like amazing games and are super fun. So, we'll see where those are headed. Anything else crazy? I think Duskbloods comes out at the end of the year. FromSoft's new game. Their
Switch 2 game.
Their Switch 2 exclusive, which I don't really understand, but
won't play it for that reason alone.
Really?
I'm not going to buy a Switch 2 just to play like a PvP FromSoft game. I don't know. It's like the idea seems really cool and the setting looks great, but it's not. Bloodborne made me buy the PS4. Right? Like, that is why I bought a PS4. This game isn't enough to make me want to buy a console. Like, that's a significant investment, and especially, like, I don't know, I'm getting old. I gotta be careful with money, I'm not a college student with college money anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I think I've been planning on getting planning on getting a Switch 2 at some point anyway. And I think it'll definitely be before the end of next year. I mean, I was planning on getting it for one for Christmas this year, but the money just didn't work out. So, but I think that's also part of that too, is I am just kind of excited to see what comes out for Switch 2. I am still of the opinion that I think the Switch 2 library is not there yet.
Yeah.
Like when I look at the, my fiance and I and her family were just at Target, so I could sort of see like what are the Switch 2 games that are out now. And really, it still ends up being like, I guess I could play remakes or like the upgraded versions of some Switch 1 games. I could play like Donkey Kong Bonanza. Seemed cool.
The new Mario Kart, I guess.
Mario Kart seems cool. And that's kind of it. So, I don't know, maybe once that like library gets expanded and sort of pushes out, there'll be more things that are like exciting that's there to play. I mean, I know for to some point, right? Like whenever the new Zelda game comes out is going to be on Switch, like all the mainline Nintendo franchises, right? Like we're going to get a new Zelda game that's a Switch 2 exclusive. We're going to get we already have a new Mario Kart game, but what was what other like Zelda or what other like mainline Nintendo games?
Well, they'll probably make like a mainline like just Mario title, like a Super Mario title for Switch 2.
There's going to be like a Switch 2 Super Mario exclusive. There's going to be like a Pokemon exclusive for the Switch 2. Like whatever the next set of Pokemon games that actually like come out are Gen 10. And those are all games that like I really enjoy. I'm sure the next Smash Bros game, because I mean,
oh yeah, I guess so. We're probably due for another one if they're making another one. It's been it's gotta be quite a while since the last one came out.
I think Steve was the last DLC character.
That had to have been like at least like 5 years ago. I feel like it was.
He released in October 2020.
I was so correct. Incredible.
Yeah, you were right. So, but I mean, that's... Oh, wait, no. There was plenty of other characters that came after him. But I think Sora was the most recent released character in October 2021. So, but that to me says that they've stopped development on Smash Ultimate, which I think we knew for a long time that they haven't been updating it.
Well, didn't Sakurai say that he doesn't want to do Smash anymore?
I thought he said that like 2 Smash games ago, though. Like, I thought he said Brawl was going to be the last one.
I think they've said that, like, this was kind of supposed to, like, Smash Ultimate was supposed to really be the, like, everybody is here, we got the rights for, like, all of the previous characters. I recall seeing something that was like, the next Smash Brothers game is going to be a lot smaller of a scope. Like, they're not going to be going for all characters, but they might take it in like some different directions, which I totally understand. Like, if you look at like the character select screen for Smash Ultimate for somebody who has all the DLC characters, there's like 88 characters in that game or something.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And like I can understand that just being way too much. Oh, I will say also there's a new Kirby Air Ride game for Switch 2. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I when like the Switch 2 came out, I was like, okay, I could play Donkey Kong Bonanza and I could play Mario Kart World, and like that's it. And I'm not getting a console for those 2 games. But then like, oh, new Kirby Air Riders got like announced, and actually looks like it's a really fun game. Okay, like as the library expands, I'm much more willing to be like, oh, okay, this seems cool.
Yeah, I think like I have a prediction that the next Zelda game that's going to come out is going to be like Breath of the Wild in the way that it's going to be released on the Switch 1 and 2. Like, it's going to still bridge the gap because they usually tend to do that. Like, even like Twilight Princess, it was a GameCube Wii title.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like a lot of those big ones, I mean, yeah, Breath of the Wild was also a Wii U and Nintendo Switch game. So, like, I think anyways, wasn't it? So
yeah,
it was.
Well, what did that make then? Like, Tears of the Kingdom would be like the Switch 2 game.
So Tears of the Kingdom was like the Nintendo Switch Zelda game, right? Like, it was like, I mean, you could say that Breath of the Wild was, but like Breath of the Wild 2 or Tears of the Kingdom was like, you know, making full use of that technology. So I feel like at the point where we get a Zelda game, because Zelda is probably the Nintendo IP that I'm most invested in other than Metroid, but I'm not really banking on getting another like a Switch 2 Metroid game that I'm super duper duper invested in. Like Metroid Prime Dread was the, I guess, Switch Metroid, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but it was a side scroller. Like it was a, like 3D side scroller. It wasn't necessarily like utilizing the entire technology, whatever. Maybe it was, I don't know, but it didn't feel like it was pushing any boundaries. Where Tears of the Kingdom, it kind of did, I guess. Not really much more than Breath of the Wild, I suppose. Maybe this is a moot point, but whenever they make a Zelda game that's just for the Switch 2 that makes full use of the Switch 2's capabilities, I think that's when I'll really kind of want to dive into getting a Switch 2. And that probably won't be for another couple years. Like, they're probably not doing it for another 2, maybe 3 years, I would guess. So by then, maybe it'll be a little cheaper. Maybe it'll be on sale. I don't know. Like, I'm not really in a rush to get a Switch 2, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't want to get a Switch 2 until they release an OLED model.
Yeah, you've said that plenty of times, Dempsey. We know.
Yeah. This year you're holier than thou with OLED. Next year you're holier than thou with non-violence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of OLED, I really want to. I don't know. This coming year, I kind of want to get a Steam Deck because I've realized the value in having a Steam Deck. Whereas I don't think I've really seen the value until very, very recently. I think this year might be the year that I get a Steam Deck. We'll see.
You have a good PC, right?
Yeah. Relatively, yeah.
So the great thing about a Steam Deck is even it can play any game that your PC can play.
Yeah, which is like
you can just
awesome.
Stream to it. Yeah. And so that's the thing that really opened up the Steam Deck to me is like, because I can stream my PS5 to my Steam Deck. And then I can play like big AAA games anywhere around the house, or if my sister's watching something or whatever using the TV, I still have access to my PlayStation.
Wait, back that up. You need to repeat that for me. What do? You can stream your PS5 to your Steam Deck?
Yes.
So like
using remote play, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, actually.
Seth wasn't here. Katie was.
Oh, Seth wasn't here. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you can stream your PC games because Steam has a way to do that natively within Steam OS. But like within like 20 minutes of like tinkering, you can also get PlayStation Remote Play to work. And the latency is pretty much non-existent. I have good Wi-Fi, but like I was able to play I'm able to play high action games with zero latency. I consistently have to restart the app once per play session, which is weird. So I start the app and I play for about 5 minutes and then it crashes and then I have to restart it and then it's fine for as long. I don't know what that's about, but
that's a worthy concession for being able to play like remote stream the games.
You can hook up if you wanted to, can you hook up like a mouse and keyboard to your Steam Deck?
Yeah, that's how I play so if you get a dock, you can just throw a mouse and keyboard on it. That's how I play games that require a mouse and keyboard.
Does it have a touchscreen?
Yeah.
We might be gentlemen.
I think I
might have a purchase.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like the more I hear about it and the more, especially just, since I joined the podcast and Dempsey and Katie talking about their Steam Decks, I'm like, this seems great. Like, I don't know. There seems to be no downsides to this because I've been looking for a lot of reasons to just like, I want to watch a movie with my wife or sit there while she's watching a show. And I want to be in the same room as her, but doing my own thing too. But like, I can really only play the Switch because if she has the TV, I can't really use my PlayStation. So it's like, okay, I can only really do the Switch. So that's why I bought Silk Song on the Switch. That's why I've been playing the new Metroid game and stuff like that. But I'm like, as I'm playing the Switch, I'm like, oh man, but I really want to play Crypt of the Necrodancer. Or I really want to play Divinity. Or I want to play Baldur's Gate. Or I want to play something that I have in my Steam library, but I can't from here. Like, I could do the Steam remote whatever, like the Steam Link on my phone, but that's not the same. Like, it's not good. So
yeah, I totally prefer playing games on my Steam Deck when I'm like lounging around the house, literally just because it feels like I'm on my phone less.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I'm like laying down watching TV, talking to someone, and on my phone playing Balatro, it just feels like more disconnected, or like I could get a notification and then I'm completely out of the conversation that I'm having. Yeah. But I really do like playing games, even if I'm talking to someone on my Steam Deck. I would say the only downside of the Steam Deck is that it's not super powerful, but that downside completely goes away if you just stream from a more powerful machine.
Yeah, which like I mean my computer is built for like basically running things pretty much like modern things at like 2K, like 1440p on like max settings. So I mean, like, you know, I should be fine.
Yeah. So and the great thing about that is that then, because the Steam Deck's not actually running it, the battery life goes way up.
That would be, because that's one of my big concerns is battery life. Because if I have to like charge it every 3 hours, that kind of might kill it for me. But
no, if you stream from like whatever device you have, it's pretty much only running the stream. And so it's not doing any of the processing locally. And so the battery life lasts forever. I will say, if you're getting a Steam Deck, I do suggest the OLED because it looks better. And also, not only the screen is better, but they made just a lot of tiny upgrades. It's not like a power upgrade. It's not like the Steam OLED is more powerful, but it does have like a quieter fan. It runs less hot. The trackpads feel better and are more responsive. The screen's slightly more responsive. Just like they made a lot of like tiny. I think the storage is like a little bit faster as far as like load times and things like that go. Not like it's going to run games at a higher frame rate, but like you'll have a little. Anyways, but yeah, I just think the Steam OLED is a great device. So I'm playing Hades 2 on.
Totally unrelated to that, I guess, because that just reminded me of like. Because I mentioned playing kind of like other games, and I realized that my goals for 2026 are what I'm excited for 2026, because there's not a lot of games that are coming out that I'm really stoked about. I think the only game that I can think of is coming out is the next Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Requiem, I think it's called. I'm really excited to play that, but that's also because I just want to play as like a 50-year-old Leon Kennedy, because we just can't let that man die. But that's just like... That's the only game that I can think of that's coming out in 2026 that I actually have really real interest in playing, like a vested interest in playing. And so I think my goal for this year, I'm feeling very nostalgic. I turned 30 this past year, and I'm getting old, and I'm feeling very nostalgic for my younger days, for my youth, back when my back wasn't breaking and my knees weren't creaking and cracking. So I have kind of decided that I'm just going to go back and replay a lot of games for this year. I don't really want to play many new games. I want to just go back and play games that make me feel good. So I'm going to go back and play Star Wars KOTOR because of the new Star Wars trailer that we saw at the Game Awards. It's about time that I go back and play that. I'm going to play through the Dishonored games again because it's one of my favorite series and I really love those games. I really want to play through the Dragon Age games again too. And actually, if I'm playing through the Dragon Age games, I might get Veilguard because I did not play the new one. But if I'm playing through all of them, I might as well. So
I'm kind of sad.
I think that's.
I'm not to sorry, cut you off too much at the end.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm kind of saddened at the fact that like I feel like we don't have a lot to look forward to as far as like new game releases in 2026.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
and I think that's why I'm going back to older games, is because I'm looking at a list of things that are being released, and it's really not. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of games, but nothing that I'm actually excited about.
Yeah, it's funky.
I think obviously, okay, I think that will change very quickly. I think like,
sure,
any lists right now really only have releases up until like March or April.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think,
is that like a new thing in the digital age? Like, it used to be you had to like hype up something for like 6 months before it came out. But like, is that...
No, I think they don't. This is my thought, and I think this is true, although we can get emails telling me I'm false. I don't think they want to advertise during the holidays because they want you to spend the money on the games now, not think, oh, I'll wait for something else. And so I think that they don't start advertising games until like January or February.
Until, like, the new year.
When there's no holidays to interrupt and everyone's brains are refreshed from the holidays and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that they want people buying, like spending money. That's why games normally come out like by November, like at the latest for like the holiday releases, because they want holidays are like such a big consumer time. So I don't know, but that's my theory about like, especially like why big publishers that have kind of a reoccurring sustainable revenue don't want to talk too much about what's coming out when they want you to be spending money now.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of like what we're excited for 2026, what we've been looking for, or what we are potentially looking forward to doing. Dempsey's going to not kill people for 2026. Seth is going to maybe get a Switch 2 and Steam Deck, and Brett's going to die in nostalgia, I guess. I'm going to just drown myself in nostalgia.
Also, a Steam Deck is so good for emulation. It's crazy.
I think my only problem
is genuinely tempting.
The cheapest option for the Steam Deck now is like $550.
I got a used one.
See, maybe that's what I should do.
You can actually get, every now and then they do like certified refurbished ones where you can get them like Steam will, like, they'll get returns and whatever, they'll refurbish them and then sell them at like $100 less, I think.
Yeah, they're currently all sold out, but I mean, I could do that too, I guess. Just get like see if I can get a used one. Problem is I was
shilling for Valve.
I might need a bike, which is a whole other separate topic.
I also need a bike. Meh.
I have a good bike. When I was like 22, I decided to. Hold on, because I've had bikes in my life. When I was 22, I decided to spend like a little bit of money on like an actual good bike, and the difference between like an okay bike and a good bike is crazy.
That's true.
A bike is one of those things that, because it makes, like, it feels like I am flying on my good bike. I have a good road bike, and like I feel like I can like ride that for hours without getting tired because of just it loses momentum so slowly. Like it just keeps momentum so well. And so I do think that's one of the places I believe in quality, is encouraging people, if you're going to get a bike, get an actual
just get a good bike. Yeah, it is so worth it.
Facebook Marketplace
has made my life.
I've got a friend who's really into biking, and like his entire thing is just like looking at bike specs and understanding what's good. And I occasionally get him just to scour Marketplace and Kijiji and stuff, because he's like, oh, here's like this bike, it's actually like $6,000, but this guy's selling it for $300, and I'm like, oh, cool. So cool. Whatever. Anyways, so far off of what video games can teach us, but anyways,
speaking of which,
one of the reasons why I'm very excited to do my challenge, I'm going to talk about this one sec and then we'll move on. I was thinking about how infinite video games feel. Like there's all these worlds that you get to explore, and there's more video games released now than I will be ever able to play like in my lifetime, and they just keep coming out. And so I feel like, if nothing else, like getting to do a deep dive on like this pretty specific sliver of what video games have to offer, which is going to be like a lot of art. Like I know there was a video game that came out last year that I wanted to play about. You get to play as a girl with an eating disorder, and you have to like manage how many calories and what your friends say about you. And that sounds like that sounds so
terrible.
Good.
What the hell?
That's awful.
And like, because like you're like, you have to balance like the stress of being hungry and the stress of feeling like you're overeating, and like what your mom says about you and things like that. And I'm like, that's incredible. Like video games are fantastic. Like there's just like an infinite amount of them, and they keep coming out. So that's what I'm excited to do with 2026.
All right.
We'll ask Katie the same question next time she's on the podcast too, what she's excited for. But anyways, okay. Well, is that it? Did we do a podcast?
That's it.
Well, thanks for listening. If you want to tell us what you are most excited about in 2026, or have any recommendations on non-combat games I should play. I'm not saying non-violent, because the game can include violent, just like not combat. So if like Detroit Become Human has domestic, well, I don't know. Whatever. You get the vibe, kind of. Email us at I actually don't know what our email is exactly. It's in the show notes. It's overthinkinggames@gmail.com, overthinkinggamespod@gmail.com. It's one of those. It's in the show notes. So feel free to send us an email. We do respond. Seth just got an email about his mnemonics.
Yeah, I did respond to that.
How Seth feels about mnemonics, which I think is very funny. Otherwise, you can follow us on TikTok if you want to help Ratio Brett, and Instagram and YouTube. And I think that's it. Is that it? Is that all we say?
I think so.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Drive safe. Text me when you get home. Stay warm.